Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Shawan Burns. In today's episode, we have an update on the teacher that was fired for letting some of his female students take down his hair. He was fired, and now he takes social media by storm. I think he already had these followers, so maybe he was just doing an experiment. But anyway, we have an update on him. And then we're going to talk about Just Pearly Things. You guys, I've talked about Just Pearly Things. I don't like talking about individuals, especially like YouTubers and social media people, but she tends to get into um, or she tends to get the spotlight. Um, and I believe a lot of Black folks follow her, even young Black men in particular, follow her because of what she's preaching. But she's a satire. I believe she's a fake person. And I believe she doesn't follow by her own rule book. So we're going to discuss that because she did an interview and her true colors came to light. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that and then much, much more on today's episode of Business Talks.
Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Before we get to our main story of the hour, I just want to give you guys an update. Yesterday, we talked about Tiffany Henyard, how she's using the residents fund to, and I'm saying the taxpayers, the Village of Dalton money to pay for this, I guess, investment property that her and Kamal Woods, I believe they have some type of investment or some type of ownership in the property. Because why else would you be paying for the engineering and the sign and all that stuff? No telling what else they paid. But that was part of the investigation that the FBI subpoenaed those records, that anything that had to do with that property. Also, they also subpoenaed the man that owns the property. Okay, so it's a woman and a husband and wife team, Tiffany Kamara and St. Patrick Kamara. They subpoenaed St. Patrick Kamara on that grand jury. So they testified yesterday. We don't know what came of that. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some news probably in the next a few days. They probably hand down some indictments. That's what I'm thinking. Anywho, so last night they did have a special board meeting, and Tiffany Henyard, I guess they voted for Jason House to be the pro tem. Is that how you say it? Pro tem or temporary mayor, because of Tiffany's lack of leadership, lack of responsibility, lack of I guess education. She's done a horrible job. So they voted him in as a temporary mayor. I'm pretty sure the mayor is going to take a veto action to stop this. I don't know if she can, but that's what she's going to do. Anyway, this is the news report on Fox News. They reported this.
Fiverr freelancers handle all my video editing.
The other big story tonight may be the most chaotic meeting yet in troubled South suburban Dalton.
Nate Rogers sorting out another confrontation involving the mayor, the board, and the public. Nate.
I'm assuming that they was gonna play the pro tem part, but I don't think that's it. Let me just get out of this.
Yeah, guys, this Board of Trustees meeting ended early tonight with 4 trustees actually walking out abruptly.
So the residents condemned Dalton Mayor Henyard at a chaotic meeting. No, that's not it. The board members of Dalton appointed Mayor pro tempore on Monday to serve in place of embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard should she refuse to execute her duties. That's what they're reporting. Trustee Jason House was voted in as a pro temp mayor, meaning for the time being at a special meeting and could sign off on village business and pay the bills in Henyard's absence. Henyard, the self-described super mayor on Dalton and Thornton Township supervisor, has faced accusation of corruption and has drawn national attention to a small town which has a population of 21,000 people. Dalton residents have called the Henyard's resignation, including booing her at the last meeting. And then, they were saying you're going to jail and all that good stuff. The board says Henyard is ignoring important village business and that they move was necessary so the Dalton can function and residents can receive services. They say she has missed 25 of the special meetings and refuses to allow some businesses to be put on the agenda. For instance, they did talk about the city trash service, and the old trustee, which is Valerie Stubbs, she brought it up for public comment, and I think they have some type of bond, so they're actually double paying for those services, and they're trying to get rid of the bond. But I'm afraid that since Tiffany has not been transparent about the finances and she does not know how to manage the finances, I'm afraid that those city services they're probably behind on payments. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you go on Dalton Politics page, there's been several times that people link videos when they call the city services, water or trash or whatever, and their departments, and they find out that the bill or the phone has been disconnected because someone did not pay the bill. Now, if they're forgetting to pay the phone bill, I even hear they're forgetting to pay insurance premiums. Not life insurance, medical insurance. And I don't think they're forgetting. They just don't have the money. But of course, Tiffany is probably making those payments. I showed you yesterday those $46,000 payments. I'm pretty sure she's making those payments. $46,000 payments for that event center. But she can't pay the trash bill. She can't pay the phone bill. She can't pay the insurance bill. We already know they threatened to take the fleet of cars, those new fleet of cars. They was behind $76,000 for 9 of those Chicago trucks, or not Chicago trucks, but the police trucks. So you're forgetting to pay those things, but you got your stuff. You remember to get your hair weave. You remember to get your makeup. You remember to get your clothes, and that's event center. You remember to pay that. So I think they did the right move. Tiffany is not being responsible. She's actually acting like a child. She's the super shitty mayor. That's my name for her. She's super shitty. And it says, we're just really trying to make sure that if something critical comes up, that there's a signature on deck that can move it forward. They probably saying, hey, on the 13th, a lot of people are forgetting the city, the village of Dalton was subpoenaed for one court date. Those people were to show up to the grand jury yesterday. Usually it doesn't take the grand jury long to determine whether or not they have enough evidence to press charges on the individual. Usually it don't take that long. Then she was also subpoenaed, which she should be at court, and all the co-conspirators. If you guys want to check out, Hannibal did a great video about Thornton Township subpoenas. Go to his channel. Hannibal is hungry. Go to his channel because he just dropped the video about Thornton Township subpoena records, and they're supposed to show up on court on May the 20th. So you have two townships in the village of Dalton, two possible indictments that will be handed down from the FBI. So they're doing the right thing. They need to have someone elected and that's responsible enough to handle the day-to-day operations for the village of Dalton. And it says this is not a replacement. This is an ordinance is strictly in the refusal or inability for the mayor to do her duties and appointed senior trustee to step in and make sure the necessary documents are signed and business moves forward. House said during Monday's night trustee meeting, um, he said this to Fox. According to one report, Hinyard is expected to veto action. You don't need to report that. We know she's full of it, so she's going to veto. She's already vetoed the board's request to launch a federal investigation into her alleged misuse of funds last week. Vetoed her their hiring of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who had been tasked to leading a special investigation into the mayor. Lightfoot has been paid $400 an hour to gather information on Hinyard's alleged spending and finance mismanagement, but Hinyard said she would not be paid. So we heard her. She said she's not going to pay Lori Lightfoot, and she was pretty upset about Lori Lightfoot because she said Lori Lightfoot is a mayor or was a mayor. How dare Lori Lightfoot come into her home, her house, and try to navigate some stuff without talking to the leader? And she was referring to herself. Okay. And it says Hinyard was dubbed or has been dubbed the worst mayor in America. Who's the second worst mayor in America? You guys put in the chat. I think the second worst mayor in America is between Eric and Brandon Johnson. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. So let me just go to the chat. I know I started talking right away. I see we have Noble Young in the building. Quincy Gray, what is good? Kevin Walker from Pittsburgh. Headley Grange. Tiffany Hinyard gives the Dalton residents the big middle finger each and every day. Yes, she does, because she don't give a shit. She don't give a shit every day. She don't care. She's spending their money and she don't care. And everybody's telling her you going to jail and she don't care about that. She thinks she's untouchable at this point. Kevin Walker, what is good? From Pittsburgh. Quincy Gray, Laura Logan, Cincinnati. Deborah Hill, Ohio. How are you doing? Ohio. Ohio. Anyway, my sons, they always have a joke about Ohio, the way they say it. Anyway, Lexi, what is good? It's good to see you. James Sikilski. Sorry, I killed your name. I just saw the first part. From Shelton, Connecticut. What is good? Carolyn Cruz. She says, I bet she won't say the word FBI other than yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly right. And Dan, 1522 Lincoln Avenue, Dalton, YouTube videos, Tiffany. Okay. Yeah, we discussed that yesterday. And Stephen is in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Get Noticed with Nikki. Thank you for tuning in. Daniel Cunningham. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. Lexi said Adams. Get Noticed with Nikki. Eric and Adams are neck and neck. Or Eric Adams and Johnson are neck and neck. Yeah, I think they, they're neck and neck. And Ronald Stanley, stupor mayor. The stupor mayor. The stupor mayor. Yeah. So That's it for your super mayor. I'm not going to talk more about her today. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot to talk about when it comes to super mayor. Okay. Anywho, so let's get to the fired teacher. Your fired teacher, um, like I said, he crossed the line with his students. If you guys don't remember, let me just show some of the. Oh, no, I don't want to go there. Let me just go to what he got fired for. Okay. This is what.
10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat, which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing, and people were just making it weird.
Okay, so you hear he talking. This is a man. So if you have daughters, imagine your 14, 15-year-old daughter got a crush on him because he looks pretty young. Oh, Mr. White, I'll take down your hair. And he's filming them. I read in some of the comments, you're not supposed to film children unless you get their parental consent. Okay, so you're filming the kids. I don't know how true that is, but it's probably true because they're under 18. And then this voice, I really got irritated about this voice because you're trying to sound, is this concern or this is like a sexy concern? And then when do you draw the line? Is this inappropriate? I believe it's inappropriate. But I do not believe he should have been fired. I think he should have been reprimanded. Only reason why I think he should not have been fired, because I guess, depending on. Now, well, let me backtrack. We don't know his record at this school. Maybe he had a bad record. Maybe they kept on telling him, stop filming the kids, stop doing shit with the kids. And or we're gonna fire you. So maybe they already reprimanded him before, or some dad called up there and said, this guy is doing inappropriate things. I don't want my daughter playing in his damn hair. So we don't know that part. All we know is he got fired. Okay, so he got fired for this. Now he's up on the internet crying his heart out. Why are you crying, dude? Why don't you just find another job? But he's crying. Let me just show you this, and this is ridiculous to me.
During this time, hey bestie, I really hope that you see this message. How are you? I hope that you're okay. Our class misses you so much, and we really want you to know that we love you and we miss you so much and can't wait for you to come back. I can't believe that taking somebody's hair out is such a big deal, and it makes me so mad that people make little things big things. I want you to know that the class and others got your back, and we will always stand behind you and up for you no matter what happens. We got you. Again, we miss you and we love you so much, and can't wait for you to come back. I wish that this never happened because it feels like we're losing you. Come back soon. Don't be gone too long, because if you're not back by Monday, I know something's up. But anyways, I also made sure that the classroom was clean before we left. Love you, missed you. Love you, miss you, see you later. Hi, Mr. White. We've been seeing all this stuff going on, and so has your other former students, and I just want you to know that we're standing with you. I'm literally in my junior year of high school right now, and seeing all this, you were my and many others' favorite teacher.
I can't watch anymore. Not because I'm sad for him. I'm just like, this is a grown man, and I think something's mentally wrong with him. This is, I cry this much is because I'm truly hurt. Like I lost a friend. I lost my parent in a tragic accident, or somebody died suddenly. I'm not for sure. You guys let me know. Maybe I'm just too old school and I guess numb of feelings. But when I see this, my son, and I tell him he needs to toughen up all the time. He's 8 years old, and he will have tears like this. Like he wanted a game this weekend and wanted to use my credit card to purchase a game on his gaming system, and I told him no. He was heartbroken. He act like I told him he couldn't play in his room or with his gaming system. Like no logical reasoning of, hey, should I be crying about this situation or shouldn't? Is this just me? Or maybe I'm being too harsh. But when I see a grown man like this, I just like, okay, what is going on here? And I'm not saying men shouldn't cry, but is this the situation a man should cry? I lost my job, and I really love my job. I don't think he said he didn't have any kids on his own. So, there's a shortage of teachers. You could find a job anywhere. Now, I'm not just trying to be mean to the guy, but this is his TikTok. He has over 762,000 followers on his TikTok. He's actually a great teacher. The kids really love him. So should he have gotten fired? I really don't agree that he should have gotten fired. But what's the problem with his TikTok is he has several videos of inappropriate things that they probably already told him this is inappropriate. This video right here. This video right here. A young woman is or young lady is painting his nails. And somebody replied, would I let my daughter paint my nails? Of course. This isn't about painting her father's nails. This is about painting another grown man's nails. And he's responding to this.
Online. I'm gonna make you look foolish for a second time. You bet your ass I let my students paint my nails before. The student that you see in this video has goals and aspirations to be a nail tech. Not only does she do nails, she does hair, makeup, she's a dancer, super intelligent. She's pretty much a jack of all trades. Since that's the homie, she came up and saw my nails looking a little rough, and she decided she wanted to give me a fresh, clear coat. And just to add this in there, right before this video, my students took a standardized, like one of those state tests. And typically after state testing, I let the students chill, because who the hell wants to do work after, all morning sitting at a desk taking a test? Not only was this moment captured during our downtime, because I'm not just like, hey, we're not going to learn science today. I actually have to get my nails done, so all you just watch me, because, that would be dumb. Her guardians are well aware of this. Her mom literally watches my videos all the time. Not only does she love my content, but she signed a media release form for her daughter so she can be in my videos.
So that answered that question. Are you supposed to be filming kids without their parents' knowledge? So he made them sign a media or release form. The parents are okay with this. So I think the parents are wrong in this. If I had a daughter, you don't touch nobody. Only people you touch is your mom and your dad. That's you keep your hands to yourself. We tell our kids, keep your hands to yourself. You want to make sure people know your boundary. They know not to touch you. You're not supposed to touch them. So is this inappropriate? I think so. Should he have been fired? No. But we going back to this video right here. He's literally on the
Students and former
phone
students are doing
crying,
our best to advocate for you.
bawling.
You're one of the few teachers that made me really feel like I had a voice and opinion.
I can't. I mean, I like I said, I can't feel sorry for him because I think it's just one of those things. You just got to know this is you work for a school, people are going to have a problem with it. And then you put it on social media, a lot of people are going to be have a problem with it. How did he think this was okay? These young ladies are clearly has a crush on him. I do not agree with the man being fired. Me either. But I don't understand why he doesn't have the cognitive um, ability to know this is a problem. Anyway, so that's that. He was fired, and everybody's coming to say some people has a problem with it, and then you got some of and it's mostly females. I hate to say it, mostly females. They don't have a problem with it. They're saying it takes a village to raise a child. That's what it says on this. I don't know if you guys seen this. 1 minute it takes a village to raise a child, then it's people shaming, shaking my head. Bro, stop explaining yourself. It's the parents and administration are cool, then we should be cool. I guess he ain't supposed to play soccer with them either, huh? Keep up the good work, man. Is this cosmetologist school? Why are people so upset? Blurred lines, boundaries. That's why we are confused because we have no boundaries. I agree with that. We need to have clear and defined boundaries. Teachers should not, you're not my friend, you're not my girlfriend. Hey, you could tell me about your problems, but you're not touching my hair. There's no boundaries in this. And they're gonna have a crush on you. These are girls. These are teenage girls. They gonna have a crush on you and you're young. Anyway, so you guys put in the chat. Let me know what you think. Now, this next story is about your girl, Just Pearly Things. Just Pearly Things. She made it to a podcast. She made it to a podcast, and in this podcast, she was in a debate, and I guess they were pretty much debating whether or not females should take on a more traditional role, and what's the problem with what quote unquote modern woman today in Western society. I don't necessarily agree with Just Pearly Things. I think it's all on how you want your relationship to be. I do take on a more traditional role in my uh, relationship. I had children after I was married, and we're gonna stay together. We don't believe in divorce. You might be mad at me. Okay, get over it. Get over it. What was the old girl named Shaq ex-wife saying? Oh, I never wasn't in love with him. Okay, well, that's not what makes a family work, is being in love anyway. In love is like, oh, I love you. I'm so, that's not what makes a family work. I'm sorry if you guys was told that lie. That's not what makes a family work. That's not what keeps a family together. Okay, so I do believe in a traditional relationship. I do believe in traditional marriage. However, I do believe there's some untraditional women, a lot, and I believe there's untraditional men. So we can't just put all the ownership on women saying, hey, you got to be traditional. Well, are you traditional? You ain't going out there bringing in all the bacon, because more likely, if you guys want to live a certain lifestyle, this woman got to go to work. after she bear children. So it's not one of those things that, hey, this person is right and this person is wrong. I think the red pill got it all wrong. They got people mind twisted. Okay. And only reason why I'm saying that is because she's real extreme. Just Pearly Thing is really, really extreme. Okay. So this was
wife to put it.
This was just posted by the Milk Bar TV. Don't know who that is, but she was on a podcast and they were going to debate. And of course, Just Pearly Things is saying, hey, they need to be obedient, submissive. They should be fit, friendly, and feminine, something that Kevin Samuels used to say. Young, in early 20s. I guess that's the childbearing age. Like I said, I don't really agree with that part. I do agree that, hey, if you are in a marriage and you married to a man, yeah, you need to shut up. Okay. If the guy has the aptitude to lead, okay, then you should be following his direction. People hate the word submissive. That's basically what it is. I yield to what my husband is telling me. Okay, you don't like submissive, you don't like obedient. Okay, how about let's use another word? I don't know. But that's basically what it is. It's just being, hey, cooperative. I'm yielding and I'm being cooperative with you. That's what submissive and obedient is. It's not like, hey, I tell you to sit and you say, oh, hi, roll over. No, we're not talking about that. And I think women, when they hear those words, that's the first thing they come to mind is, I'm not a dog. I'm not gonna, you tell me to jump and I'll say how high. They're thinking of what is that? The movie with Eddie Murphy, and he brought his wife and he was like, what do you like? And the potential wife was like, whatever you like. And he was like, bark like a dog and all that stuff. I think that's what comes to people's mind when they think of submissive and obedience, but that's not what it is. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. So this is what she had to say. And it goes off the rails. She looks pretty silly.
Simply, men want silence. Unfortunately, women are not offering that in 2024.
We're going to have 10-minute opening statements, 5-minute rebuttals, 20-minute cross-examinations, a time of Q&A for 30 minutes, and then 5-minute closings. The reason we wanted to do that is sometimes in these discussions, people interrupt each other and the person doesn't get to make the case that they'd like to make.
That marriage is a bad deal for men and steals their happiness. That's just not true. In fact, marriage is the best. You can't interrupt when I'm talking. Have you heard a girl lament that her boyfriend, she'd love to get married, but her boyfriend doesn't want to get married, or he's dragging his feet? How many times have you can't interrupt him until the time is over? Why would it? Because what you're saying is that the harm.
For example,
let me finish.
Should men marry women that have participated in porn?
I would say that that's definitely a red flag, but it is not it's not a deal breaker.
Do you have a son?
Can I answer the questions, Pearl? Because you can keep asking questions and I'll never answer
because
them. By Taylor and
social media,
another one by Taylor done in 2011.
Social media.
I would like to finish. These happy, healthy men who get married, the majority of them, they lose their happiness. Do you have a study that shows that? Because let me finish. Should we look to determine the standard of whether marriage is a good? Let me finish. Whether marriage is a good deal. If a woman does something bad, she should have to pay consequences for it. But if a man, I'm going to finish. Okay. If a man, so
the majority of women aren't.
If a woman,
that's not the majority, and that's the thing that.
No, let me finish. And because women are 5'3" and 170 pounds. Well, the average man. No, you can't talk now. Be obedient, quiet. Okay. In many cases, you can have a.
Let him go.
Shh, quiet now. Your boyfriend can help train you on that one before marriage, so that you can.
Feel free to. I'll give you some more time.
That's fine.
Pearl, as a woman who campaigns for the general disregarding of female prominence, what is to stop you from taking your own advice and being quiet, finally? Where is your husband? Why are you so disagreeable, abrasive, and unpleasant while lamenting the very same traits in other women?
I'm actually quite polite, so.
So that was their whole exchange. So you remember at the beginning of the argument, he was saying that you're going to have a chance to talk. You are going to have like 10 minutes for to make your point. Each people, then you could do rebuttal or whatever. But she kept on interrupting. You don't even practice what you preach, Pearl. Stop interrupting the man. And he was married, and you're not. I think Pearl is like 28, 29, and it's not married. So you're damaged good. You're just lost by the wayside, I guess. According to her theory. According to her theory and all these red pills people, if you're 28, you're damaged. I guess you're what is it called? They call it something. They use a word. You're out by the wayside. I guess the younger the better. You're used. You might as well go to the use the DAV the DAV and put a sign out. Take me home. And don't have any kids. Don't have any kids. Not, but I do believe it is harder it's harder to find a man when you do have kids. I do believe, and it's not their own. I totally believe that. But I don't believe you're a waste. You're damaged if you're 28. Because I could remember when I was 28. I thought, and I still think I'm a prize to be won. I didn't even get married till I was like 31, 32. So I don't know where she's getting this from. I don't know, and maybe because at her 28, maybe because she looks old and she feel like used and she's all dried up. Maybe that's the reason why they saying this, or maybe because yeah, and I do believe if you are less experienced, you're less likely to go for a bunch of BS. I know that. And you just, more easygoing. Now, but when you get women that's experienced life, they're not gonna put up with a bunch of BS. They're just not gonna do it. And you think that that's a problem. Okay. Well, I guess that's a problem. Anyway, so just Pearly Things, it said on this post tonight, Pearly Things invited me to come to her live, and she asked me questions and interrupted me, then kicked me out. I would be happy to continue this discussion on the Cars Project where I won't interrupt you. We can also discuss an OF girl you called a hooker when she was professing Jesus. Let me know when you will have the conversation. So, like I said, just Pearly Things, she doesn't follow what she preaches. Now, this is a black man that she's talking to. And just Pearly Things, that 1.7 million followers that she have on YouTube, I think she got demonetized because all the rhetoric that she was talking. She got demonetized because of what she used to say. But most of those 1.7 million followers are young men, and mostly black men. You following this lady. She's gonna take you to the church. Why can't you follow? And I don't agree with Dr. Umar. You can't follow a man. This is the problem with our society. You can't find a good man to take advice from of how to be a man and how to get or obtain a good woman. Like I said, Dr. Umar wouldn't be my first suggestion, but just a person that actually walks the walk and talks the talk. I have a problem with people saying, hey, do these types of things, do this and this and this, and they don't live by their own code. To get a man, you need to do this and this and this, and you don't live by that. You still don't got no man. And the last few boyfriends that she had were some pretty sketchy guys. You know, she doesn't know how to pull a man. All the advice that she has for these ladies, and poor advice that she has for the ladies, she doesn't know how to pull a man. I should start a channel on how to pull a man and keep one. That's the thing. You could pull a man, but do you know how to keep one? Okay, so I think just PearlyThings, I think like I said, I think she's pretty fake, and I don't understand why people follow her. Anyway, that's not my genre. I didn't come online to say all that. I just think she's a fake person. Anywho, our next story. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. Let me see what you guys are saying. Lexi, men out there don't want feminist women or loud, obnoxious women who can't hold their tongue. Yeah, they don't. They don't want most men. They don't want to be in no argument. They want you to be modest, which I do agree on those things, the points that she talks about. But sometimes she like this one lady, she called her out because I guess she was in a bathing suit, and she was an older lady. She was about my age, in her 40s. And she was like, oh, that's unattractive. Why is that unattractive? I mean, when you get up to 45 and you still got all your and you tone, yeah, I think that's very attractive, because a lot of people in America are not toned up. So, I mean, and she's fit and friendly and feminine, you know, all the things you said it should be. But I guess just PearlyThings didn't like it because she was a wife. You know, when you go to the gym, you should have baggy clothes on. You shouldn't wear skin tight clothes. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense, because if you know anything about working out, if you're on a treadmill, you don't want baggy clothes on. You want you know, some biker pants. And I don't like, I'm not saying the biker pants that clench your booty. I'm not saying that, but and then you don't want no loose top. You usually want a tank top or some type of athletic wear so you could get, you know, momentum. Sometimes I wear a big t-shirt to work out. It all depends on how I feel, but come on now. She was talking about people that wear biker shorts or biker pants to the gym, which is ridiculous. They ain't even showing no skin. But anyway, I digress. I don't think I ever disagree with anything Shawan has said. Oh, I mean, if you listen to me long enough, maybe you will. Are overly dramatized women who makes a scene everywhere they go. Yeah, there's women like that. I mean, I'm not. there's a lot of drama. I think the feminists, we can't agree on this. The feminist movement just ruined our country. They ruined Western civilization. We can't agree on that. Feminist movement ruined our country. They actually ruined the Black community. Like I said, why she has a lot of male followers, a lot of Black men followers that follow her lead for some reason. You can't find no Black men to follow their lead of how to build a relationship and all that stuff. To me, it's really wild. Anywho, Quincy Gray, men don't want to be challenged in a relationship when we supposed to be partners. It's like a fight or a race to who wears the pants. Just silly. It is just silly. It's just silly. And nobody wants to deal with that. My husband told me, and I told you guys, sometimes my husband, he's real. I say he's a chauvinist. He's a real asshole to me. And a lot of people, like, we had his 50th birthday party. This was a few years ago. And, you know, some of the people that came in, they was like, dang, that's your, because they never met me before. And they was like, oh girl, I don't know how you could deal with him, because he give them the business at work. He don't, I mean, kind of an asshole sometimes. He has a sharp tongue, but he could talk to me like he's one of those things. But sometimes he tells me, he has to tell me to shut up. Do I get offended? Like, how dare you tell me to shut up? No, I think about it like, yeah, I am talking too much. Yeah, I'm talking too much because sometimes we do talk too damn much. Like if we having a conversation and I'm up there and he trying to explain something and he can't get nothing out. Okay, yeah, shut up. How can you communicate and you're the only one talking? That's not a form of communication. That's just you yapping and you're not listening to understand what he's saying. And this is just a relationship advice, Sometimes you got to step away from get out, stop getting emotional, number one, and step away and listen to what your man is trying to say to you. Because he ain't trying to fight. He got to fight at work. Why would he want to come home to fight you? That don't make no damn sense. So anyway, so sometimes you got you have women that they overreach and overstep their boundaries and they think they gotta wear the pants, but you don't. And maybe because a lot of women had to take care of themselves and was brought up in these single parent household and that's all they know. So, but if you want a healthy relationship, you got to tone that down. You got to dial that back. A healthy, lasting relationship, you got to dial that back. You don't have to be a pit bull. You're not in the courtroom. And that's another thing. Sometimes my husband, he was like, damn, you would have made a great lawyer because sometimes I get on my thing and I be trying to make a point and he be like, okay, this is enough. Enough is enough, woman. So anyway, some Black women want power more than they want a partner. Yeah, you have a lot of women out there like that. Anyway, so our last story that I want to talk about is let me just pull it up. Let me just pull it up. Oh no, bookmarks. So you had Joe Biden. They just came out with the polls a few days ago. They came out with I didn't want to do that. Who's voting for Joe Biden?
These numbers are an absolute about battleground states.
And they were talking about the key battleground states. Okay. The swing, we could call them the swing states. And it's crazy how Donald Trump is leading significantly in these states. Significantly. You have Nevada. He's leading by 13 points. Georgia, 9 points. Arizona, 6 points. Pennsylvania, 3 points.
Frankly, for the Joe Biden campaign, these numbers are an absolute disaster.
It's a
the
disaster.
Smallest lead is in Arizona for Donald Trump. He's up 6. Look at this, 9 in Georgia, 13.
Wisconsin. Trump is leading by 1 point. Can you guys believe it in Wisconsin? I can't believe that. And then Michigan, Biden. I don't know what the hell. You guys see my post. What the hell are they thinking in Michigan? We need to get ourselves together. If you're in Michigan, you really need to think about this logically. Logically, why would you vote for Joe Biden? Especially when you're in Michigan. Why would you? They're killing our economy. Number one, this new Green Deal, and you work for an automotive company, they're killing this industry. You can't afford electric vehicles. You got to work several jobs to afford electric vehicle. Who's going to be able to afford it? So they either going to be able to have to create a mass transit system for people that can't afford a car, or what are you, or increase the wages, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to increase the wages. So the polls, it's over. I believe it's going to be over for Joe Biden. He's going to be a one-term president. I truly believe that. Now, I just ran across this lady, and I think it's kind of funny how she put it. She basically said, I don't care if what Donald Trump has done, what he will do. He could be 3 times felon. I'm still going to vote for Donald Trump. That's how desperate the people are in the United States, because they know Joe Biden has totally effed up the country. Now, I'll just let you listen to her.
I have now said that I am from my suburban perch with my rose garden and everything else. Now I'm totally gangster, because for the first time in my life, I'm going to be voting for the felon. If they convict him, voting for him. If they shoot him off to space in one of those Falcon 9 rockets and install him at the space station like a satellite, voting for him. Do I need to throw up like suburban gang signs or take a picture with a coffee mug? Whatever I have to do, get a t-shirt, buy merch. I'm voting for Trump. I don't care what they do to him, what they convict him of. And if that makes me gangster, I finally get my street cred after all these years. What impact is it having? It's driving people like me. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't believe in criminals. But it's driving me to a place where I don't care what Trump says. I don't care what expletives he drops in the courtroom. I'm voting for him. Now, what's next? Me voting for Trump, Black women voting for Trump, Black men voting for Trump, children, if they can get into the ballot box and sign something, voting for Trump. Just tell us where we have to go to vote for this man. That's where they're driving us to.
Children voting for Trump. Hey, you're going to have people, you know how they said these ballots, some of the ballots in Georgia that was unaccounted for, they were missing like 300,000 ballots, by the way. Dead people gonna be voting for Trump. Dead people gonna be voting for Trump. Children, your dogs, they don't care. We gonna vote for Trump. Okay. It's insane how so many people has a disdain for Joe Biden. It's insane. Joe Biden, he's basically lost support, half of his supporters, because his his take or stance or non-stance with Palestine's and Israel conflict. He's been sitting on his hands. He actually funded them, gave them money, Israel, and then you gave Palestine money as well. So you lost your base on that because you refused to take a stance on that. And then this open border policy. We haven't heard a lot about the open border, but we know it's still going on. They haven't closed the border down. The Biden administration do not give a crap. Okay, they don't care. Now, one thing, they were giving Trump shit about this. When remember Trump put all those tariffs on China? Well, I just ran across a report on Joe Biden. I wonder if they're going to give Joe Biden shit about this. I think it's a great move. Where is it at? Joe Biden. Biden announced new tariffs on imports of Chinese goods, including electric vehicles. Remember, this happened right during the pandemic time. Trump put tariffs on import goods, and they were giving him shit about it. They were saying, "Oh, you're gonna cause a war. You're ruining the economy. You're gonna do this, blah blah blah." But now you have Joe Biden doing the same thing. Biden slaps tariffs of 18 billion on imports of goods from China, including electric vehicles, semiconductors, some of the chips that goes in the vehicles we need to operate the vehicle, some of the chips that goes into these cell phones. The cell phones that we pay, iPhones that we pay damn near $1,200, $1,400 for. All that stuff is imported from China. Semiconductors and medical products to protect the U.S. workers and companies in its strategic sectors and punish China for unfair trade practices. How much you want to bet they're going to be praising Joe Biden for this? And they gave Donald Trump the shit about it. You guys look it up. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when President Trump was in office, they were claiming that, oh, you putting all these tariffs on China goods. China owns us. You're trying to start a war. So what's Joe Biden trying to do? Save America? Joe Biden's going to say, oh, I'm saving America. That's what Donald Trump was trying to do. He was trying to save America. He's using the same thing. Biden is also keeping in place the tariffs of former President Donald Trump. He had placed on more than 300 billion of imports from China. Biden said the move will keep heavily subsidized Chinese products from rolling over domestic industry he is hoping to foster. Folks, look, I determined that the future of electric vehicles will be made in America by union workers, period. No, it won't. You know what's going to be? It's going to be made in Russia. If you look at our we have an electric vehicle, and the engine comes from Mexico, and the other place comes from the transmission comes from Germany or Russia, somewhere like that. It's not made in America. If you want the car companies to keep their stuff in America, you need to change that taxes. They're trying to go up on taxes too. Everybody's saying, oh, they're just taxing the rich. No, they're taxing every damn body. They're taxing if you're a corporation. They're taxing if you're a single person. They're taxing if you got kids. They're taxing if you make 50,000, if you make 100,000, if you make 400,000. Everybody's taxes is going up. Corporation taxes is going up. Capital gains taxes is going up. I don't think it's going to pass, but that's what Joe Biden is trying to do. So if you want companies to stay here, you need to stop double taxing some of these corporations, because it doesn't make sense. Stop double taxing the people that live here, because we're double taxed. If you pay taxes, you're double taxed. You got to pay federal taxes and state taxes. Y'all can't get all y'all stuff out in one tax. Why you double taxing me? Anyway, you're taxed at 29, 32%, depending on how much you make. Last time I checked, I was being taxed at 35%, which is really freaking ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. So even if you make in like 50,000 a year, you're being taxed about 22% of your money. And that's just federal. Then you got to worry about insurance, which is it's pre-tax, but after you die, did they tax you? Anyway, so these new tariffs come from Biden pushing forward to implement 3 pieces of legislation that contain hundreds of billions of dollars of subsidies to boost the domestic manufacturing and clean energy sectors in the head of a presidential election where trade and jobs will again be an issue. We know China's unfair practices have harmed communities in Michigan. Hello. And why the F are you still voting for Joe Biden? He said it out of his mouth. We know China's unfair practices have harmed communities in Michigan and Pennsylvania. Those are the two states where he lead by 1 point or plus or minus 1 point. I think Pennsylvania, Trump is up, right? And around the country that are now having opportunity to come back to President Biden's investment agenda. That's what the economic advisor said. Most of the new tariffs cover items that the Biden administrator has sought to have made in America through investments and Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS and Science Act, and bipartisan infrastructure law. Some increases will take place this year. Tariffs on 100% on electric vehicles from 25%. What do you think that's going to do with the prices? Some of these parts we need from China. We don't manufacture here. So some of the parts we need from China, we don't manufacture here. The mining, I believe Lexi said, the mining is insane. They get that shit from Africa. Some of the mining, they have slave labor in these mining places to mine for silicone and cobalt or whatever they use in these type of appliances or vehicles. And it's coming from these places where there's no governance there. It's child slavery, basically. Anyway, so that's going to boost up. It's not going to boost up the sale. I think it's going to really hurt us in the long run. But if you want to deter people from using electric vehicles, this is one way to do it. I think what Trump plan was to deter people from the stuff that we already have here. We're going to deter these people from using or shipping their stuff from overseas or getting and make it more available here. Okay, if you're paying the tariffs there, you could purchase the product here. Okay, and keep some of these businesses open that offer the same type of supplies in America. But if it's not here, what are we saying? Are we going to stop using electric? Are we going to stop producing electric vehicles and go back to gas powered vehicles? I'm not for sure. The strategy is not strategizing, Joe Biden. That's the only thing I have with this. Now, I mean, if you're saying we're going to go encompassing across the board, but you're citing electric vehicles, 50% on syringes and needles, up from 0. 25 on lithium ion batteries, 25% on certain critical minerals, 25% on steel and aluminum products, 25% on respirators and face masks, 25% on cranes used to unload containers, ships, from 0. Okay, so all these things, lithium batteries, ion batteries for electric vehicles and parts, up from 7.5%. What is that going to do? Syringes, okay, yeah. I know we have manufacturing companies that probably manufacturing this stuff. But the lithium, do we have any lithium the raw materials? I'm talking about raw materials. Do we have any lithium mines here? I never heard of them. But let me know. You guys put it in the chat. Are there lithium mines here? 100% on electric vehicles. Are they talking about the whole vehicle? Okay, what vehicle is coming from China but are you talking about parts? Now, if we're talking about parts, are those parts readily available in the States? Can we manufacture that here? Or are you trying to get manufacturer companies to come back to from overseas to manufacture parts here? I'm not for sure. Anyway, semiconductors, lithium ion batteries, they have these timelines, natural graphite and permanent magnets, rubber, medical and surgical gloves. So they have these timelines 2026 that they're planning to increase the tariffs. So I think Joe Biden is using what is his name, Donald Trump tactics. I don't think it's strategic though, because like I said, you got this green new energy deal. Are you manufacturing rubber gloves here? I'm pretty sure that they have manufactured for rubber gloves here, but the problem is that you want zero emissions, zero carbon emissions. So how can you manufacture gloves if you want zero carbon emissions? You're trying to save 3M or whoever manufactured the gloves and masks and all that stuff. But then you put all these stipulations on them that's going to drive the costs up, that people ain't going to be able to afford it. I totally agree. Get rid of China. I totally agree with that. But what is the plan? I don't see the plan. What are you thinking here? Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. It looks like Biden looks like he's lost. Exactly. Quincy Gray says, I don't even understand how Joe Biden is coherent in his state of mind and health. And probably the economic people put this together. He got that one economic forecaster, and she's a black lady. And like I said last week, my thing was saying I can't stand black women because she comes up with some nutty shit too. That lady is nuttier than a fruitcake. And she tries to explain Joe Biden's strategy on his economic policies and agendas, but this shit doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Trump by any means. I think he's awkward in interviews, make gaffes all the time, but we are better off with him. No wars, attention put back on Americans where it belongs. Exactly. Of course they are. It's the way of the Dems. Lexi said, close the damn borders. I did see that gaffe that slipped out of Biden's mouth at the illegals. Yeah, being their new borders. That's his intentions. He trying to open up the border, so we don't need they don't need no ID. They just come over here and vote. All those ballots. Mail-in ballots, just put a name. Well, matter of fact, you don't worry about putting your name on there. We'll find one for you and submit it back. I think we'll submit a ballot for you. We see now, you guys. Remember, Trump lost, and he was in the lead when we woke up. He ended up losing. He was in the lead, and by the time the next morning come, Biden found 11 million. Biden found 11 million votes, and then Trump lost. You see the polls. The polls on Biden. These are swing states. We know what Trump is guaranteed to win all these other states, but these are swing states. He might not win. I don't think he's going to win Georgia, so they didn't even put that on there. But all these 6 other swing states or battleground states, if you want to call it, I don't know what they call them. But he is planning to, you see how far or how wide the margin is on the polls. I would not be surprised if they're going to claim Trump is leading, and we would wake up the next morning, Trump either doesn't win or he won by a margin. It's not going to be a landslide. I bet you anything, you guys. It's not going to be a landslide, because you know what Democrats do best? They love to cheat. They cheat on their own races. They cheat their own people. They love to cheat. That's why they're going through this stuff now with Massachusetts. They had a problem. New Hampshire, they had a problem. And these were all Democrat elections. So I wouldn't be surprised that Joe Biden in his minions, or he's a Manchurian candidate because he's not thinking on his own. They try to usher him in on a bunch of fake votes. Anyway, I'm just hoping Trump will go through the right process instead of doing the unnecessary things. There is a system that you could go through, a legal system that you could go through. Hey, I want them to recount every vote. Every vote needs to be validated. We don't need, pandemic is over. No more mail-in ballots. They need to X that out. Unless you are at war, you're in the military, or you're going to be on vacation somewhere, you're not going to be here or able to vote. That's the only reason why you should have a mail-in ballot. Otherwise, take your ass to the polls and have your valid ID and your voter registration card so we can match up the signature. Your signatures should match with your ID. That's how they should do it. And if you can't make it to the registration, the polling place, all polling places have to be 72 hours in advance. They have to put it on the website 72 hours in advance what polling places it is. They have to send notification what district that you, or your local polling place where you should show up. So we won't see on the media. You remember last year they showed on the media when the election happened. They had a bunch of black folks saying, "Oh, we had to walk miles to get here." And they was banging, talking about let us vote. I think that was made up, by the way. You see how they trying to suppress our vote? That was made up. That was made up. You should be able to vote if the polling place is within wherever, they should have it posted up. And these people was online talking about let us in. I think it was all a lie. That was a lie. It was a scam because they want black people to believe that you can't go to the Secretary of State and obtain a ID for $10. They want black people to believe that they're changing these polling places at the last minute. They want you. Oh, they don't have access to internet. Like Kathy Hochul. Hochul, or whatever her name is, the governor of New York, said black folks don't even know. She got some black kids that don't know what a computer is. I bet you they know what an iPhone is. That's a computer. Anywho, you guys, that's all I gotta say about that. All I have to say about that, you guys put in the chat. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate every single last one of you guys. Get out and vote. I know it's not voting time yet, but some of you guys got primaries though. Some of you have a primary that's coming up, I think in June. I know some people haven't done their primaries yet. But anyway, get out and vote. Sleepy Joe is out of the building. We taking him out. You guys remember to like, subscribe, and share this channel. You want to go to this other channel, Shawan 2.0, and subscribe to this one. Let me just share with you. Shawan 2.0. We almost at 1,000 subscribers. So, let's get up there to 1,000. If you like political stuff, and we're live every single day, Monday through Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30, and on Friday, 8 o'clock. Okay. So I really appreciate every single last one of you. You guys, I am sending all my good to you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.